What's up, everybody? Welcome back to BitLab Academy Daily Stream. My name is Kellam. Welcome to the show. Sorry about being off the last 2 days, but was I really off? No, I was in the middle of doing things that I needed to do in life because we can't absolutely stream 100% of every day, Monday through Friday, but we try to bring as much content to you as possible. If this is your first time here, welcome to the show. I can guarantee you this is not going to be your last time. We've got a wonderful community here where we're bridging that gap from beginner to pro. We bring that high-level alpha while also breaking it down and giving that understandable content and little lessons throughout so we can understand what the on-chain data metrics say, as well as what the heck support and resistance are, because we got to make sure as this space grows, more and more we get disproportionate amount of newcomers to the space every time price starts moving up and we start onboarding and not a lot more new people in the space. So let's all be patient. Let's all be empowering. Let's all be wonderful in the comments. I think every one of the people that are in the comments right now, we got a lot of OGs in chat that have been here since we were sub 1,000, sub 2,000, even sub 500 followers. Remember, we started this stream at the beginning of the year and we have been, I mean, it's incredible how fast this has grown. We're going to be past 10,000 here very shortly. And we're going to have some special things for all the OGs that were here sub 10,000. I'll be getting more to that here in the coming week. Big love to everybody. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We got a lot to go over today. US credit being downgraded. What does that mean? Especially what does it mean for the risk asset narrative? Because as much as we want to feel like Bitcoin's only up and away, there is volatility along the way. And it is still considered a risk asset, especially as compared to other global risk equities and assets as well, especially with how small its market cap comparatively with some of these other assets. So is it the safest within the digital asset ecosystem? Absolutely, but it's still almost like a molecule compared to the size of other assets in the space. So everybody throw a 1 in chat if you're feeling grateful. Throw a 2 in chat if audio, visual, everything is looking, sounding good here on my end. Of course, I just had to change my whole studio when I came back here. I had, the mobile studio and I had to plug everything back in. So I want to make sure everything's sounding good, looking good, feeling good, and then hit that poll in the top. Currently, it's showing 61% thinks it's going to break back down by the end of the week. What do you think? But yeah, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to be talking about all kind of stuff, but let's go ahead and get into it. First step first, make sure you head over here to my Twitter page. Look for the blue check. Point this out so that people don't follow all the fake accounts out there. You can see right next to my image down here, you can see right next to it, says @Kellam. You can see how it's spelled. That's how you follow me right there. Get involved. Want to make sure you don't follow any of the mini scammers that are out there. And then, of course, come over to the BitLab Academy page, which is right here @Academy BitLab. And come down right here to this page, this tweet from today. Hit that retweet, hit that like button. Make sure you're following. You get entered to win. I'm seeing a lot of 1s. I'm seeing a lot of 2s. Feels good to be back. Yes, it feels good. I appreciate each and every one of you, especially those of you that are here on a daily basis. It's like I feel like we're family. You get a fresh fade up in New York. No fresh fade. I still got just wearing a hat because I need a haircut, actually. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the other things that we, if you haven't yet, check out bitlabacademy.com. Get involved. We've got a lot of stuff coming to this, a lot of updates coming very soon, and big updates with all the indicators that's going to be rolling out this month, actually here in a matter of very quickly. But let's go ahead and take a peek at some things. Let's take a peek at a couple of the, sort of TA topics. We're going to go back into the news, then we're going to come back and look at a lot of the breakdowns of what's going on with the charts. Really good to see you back. Hey, man, I really appreciate each and every one of you. Really, you guys all just tickle my fancy. So you bring joy to me, seeing all the names, the same names on a daily basis. I really do feel like we're a family. So shout out to each and every one of you. So looking here on the BitLab intelligence right here, we're seeing a lot of really great things brewing here. And remember, last week, it was actually when we were somewhere over here. Everybody was on the BitBoy channel, not Ben himself, but the people in in the comments, oh, this guy's bearish, because up here I was calling for price to come back and touch a couple of these levels. And let's look exactly what happened. How did I feel like price here when we were over here that it was going to come back? Well, we had a little bit of a bearish divergence here on the momentum waves right here. We could see it clearly. We could see that this peak right here, come on, do a little, there we go. We can see this peak right here is higher than this peak here. We can see this is opposite, lower to higher, and this is momentum, higher to lower, bearish divergence on the momentum. We can also see we had a trend shift signal right here in the middle of this move, which didn't quite play out until over here, but we got a lot of weakness as soon as we get up here and broke down, lost this level. Further indication that we're getting we're having these higher lows, and all of a sudden we have these lower lows right here, followed by lower highs. And this continued to follow through down to the 382, which was a further break below these levels. And then we got a little bit of sideways, consolidation here, a break of this level right here. If we want to do option T, come up right here, we've got this level, this level, this level, broke this level, came down, tapped almost into the 0.5 fib, a little bit above it, front ran it a bit, but we were kind of clearing into these levels. Why does it do this? Why does price not just go up, or straight down? So we can see, what was I saying? I got distracted by a comment over here. Why does price not just go straight up or straight down? Because we don't want it to. If we want to make money in these markets and we want people to be interested in joining these markets, institutions, retail, everything alike, we want to see oscillations in price. We want to be able to zoom out. Look at this on the 3-day. Double click on this bar. Come on. Double click on this bar. Really have it zoom out. Let's go ahead and mute all the lines. And we can see here, we could see this opportunity. This is opportunity down, opportunity back up, opportunity down, consolidation, opportunity to take a short here because now we see the stair step pattern coming. Take this down, and then we have opportunity to come back up. The whole point of this, yes, I just sound like I'm repeating opportunity up and down. The point is we don't want to ever be emotionally tied to wanting it to go up or wanting it to go down. We want it to have volatility and price movement to and from certain levels. And we want to be able to identify when there are price points on the chart, whether it's from past price action or current price action that's meeting certain resistances or certain supports at certain levels, that can then give us an identification of a variance or of a divergence in strength as compared to the last time we were at that level. Good point is right here. We can see this price action bottom right here. This is FTX collapse, boom. And then we have this low right here. We see the momentum came down right here. Also, we can see way over here, momentum came way down. And look at the price levels over here. And then price continues to fall. Look how much further down price is, but we can see right here we have a bullish divergence on the momentum as it relates to where how the lack of depth right here on how far the momentum came down here. So we're seeing an increase of underlying strength essentially, while the money flow, this purple wave, is coming up right here. It's starting to angle up, how it's going from purple to yellow. It's starting to show like a choppiness, and then we're having the bullish divergence. So understanding that we have a level set here that's a lower low, but the momentum has not come down as far. So we're getting a bullish divergence. And then we get in the same time frame, this smaller time frame here, we also have boom, boom, and we have the momentum not as low again, as well as the money flow coming up. And we have this established level now. So identifying all these levels. Now I'm looking at previous price action right now, but we're going to tie that into where we're at today, because this is a regularity of something we want to do, is see where price action levels are as relates to the previous previous range, I should say. Where is the strength and momentum and velocity indicators suggesting the level of strength is as it relates to where the current price action is comparatively with where it was before. So if we look at that, where we're at right now, this was a bottom. So where we're at right now, we can see right now, we want to, let's go ahead and mute all this stuff again. We can see, let's go ahead and move. I want to move this over to the right side. Move, boom, boom. BitLab volume. Okay, look at these order blocks, and you see these, you'll see the red and the green boxes. right here. These are showing some basically order blocks and basically volume and price liquidity magnet areas of where price will actually likely come back to, find resistances or support, at least tap these zones. Well, we've traded well into this region. The concern with this, if we're not looking at any of the other indicators, is noticing that we have fallen through this dynamic sort of support zone right here and the EMA ribbon. We came down, got rejection, and came down, fell down, came back. We're currently getting a little bit of a rejection again. We're on the 3-day chart here. Now, is this the end of the world? Well, we can zoom back and see the same thing happened right here. Rejection came down, found rejection, came down, and then ultimately came through. Will we see the same thing? Same thing happened right here, except this didn't get all the way past this sort of trend signal line, which is also, I believe this is the, oh, can't remember if this is a 200 or the, yeah, I believe this is the 50, the 200. Is it the 50? Yeah, that's the 50. So 50 is that's what I thought. Sorry, because I was looking at the 3-day. That's why I was like, shouldn't it be at this price over here? Well, I'm not looking at the daily. That's why. So 3-day, this 50, great, very strong signal to understand where you're at in terms of price action when you're using the 50 moving average. We can see we did lose this, came up, rejected, came down, and then once we took it back over, we're coming right into this level. So is it this? We've talked about this a lot. Although this impulse is strong, this impulse is strong. We're getting a weaker impulse here, but we're also knocking on heaven's door right here, where this big zone of tap support, a lot of price interactivity here, and we're still trying to identify: are we going to get through this? The question is going to be is how much lower will this potentially go right here? Well, we're going to get back to this in a second. We're going to talk about some levels to look for, but let's go ahead and look at a couple other things just to get a general overview of some other assets before we look into some of the news stuff that we got. Now, we got 121 people in the room. We only got 60 likes. That means only 60 of you like to participate in things. You like to just take. Come on, let's get involved in the streams you're watching, whether it's my channel, whether it's Crypto Banter, whether it's Frankie Candles. If you have the ability to sit there and watch something, which is free content for you to watch, participate in it, give back. It's the easiest way you can help support. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. It really does help beyond what you think it is. It's not because I care about the likes or the subscribes. It's because it's what keeps us the ability to be on air, and it helps YouTube, share us with other people. Because it's not like I have another job. I do this and I trade, baby. So give back a little bit, hit that like button. Okay, I'm seeing those jump up. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, Ethereum, we're looking here on the Ethereum 3-day US, the Bitstamp chart. And we can see that we've got this sort of, this wiggle worm, it feels like this, right? And we're coming up into a very similar resistance as we saw like with Bitcoin, with this zone over here. But we now are getting lower highs here. My question is going to be is if we lose this and come down into this zone, that would be quite a bit more bearish than I would want to see for where we're at in the market cycle currently. But remember, markets don't care what you want or what you feel like you need, or they're going to do what they're going to do. But the question is going to be, what's going to happen in here? Because we also have, we got too many lines. Sometimes when you have all these lines, sometimes you just got to come in and delete some stuff, reestablish what the heck you're looking at. Let's go ahead and do that right. Oops, did not mean to do that. Here we go. Let's delete some things. All right. So now we've got, So this is interesting. This on the 3-day, look at this area that did break out. This has been some time now because this is a 3-day chart. So let's go down to the daily, get a little bit tighter view. All right, so this is looking very choppy. It really looks like it's trying to ultimately make a decision about what way it wants to go. So yeah, we're gonna have to we'll pull this back up in a second. We have had the prices broken down below this dynamic support zone, which it seems like it's doing a lot. This has dropped into it. This dropped below it, broke back up. This dropped below it and has moved down. And this is being held under this sort of dynamic sort of resistance zone in this EMA ribbon here and below this trend signal line, this 50 EMA, 50 moving average right here. If the price action, look at this dip here on this daily. If this can be eaten back up by the end of this day and basically come back to somewhat neutral, then this is just choppiness trying to shake people out. Come down to the 4 hour, we can see, yeah, this is just looking ugly. Too many lines. We're going to reestablish all the lines on here. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do 3-day, weekly. So we are going to erase all lines, remove drawings. Boom. Now we got no drawings. We're going to reestablish some stuff here. So let's get our boom. Let's get that line, this macro sort of line here. This is on the weekly chart. Let's get this from this point to this point all the way up here. This may be ultimately a target that this comes back down into. Now let's get a couple key levels. This is going to be, we're probably going to get a region right in here, this top to these bottoms. Let's go ahead and we'll leave this blue since the order blocks are red and green. We have another one. Let's go ahead and copy paste this, option copy paste. We can move this down into this zone right here. So let's zoom this up just a little bit. We can see this region where we had rejection, support, support, support. We came over here, support, rejection, and a lot of choppiness in this zone. So this is looking like this is looking indeterminable, but we have all this resistance right above us. It's very similar. This is Ethereum, very similar to what we were seeing on Bitcoin when you have that $31,000 sort of region that is proved to be a huge level over a large period of time. What do I mean by large period of time? Let's get the ruler. Let's go from right here. Let's go all the way to where we're at now. That's 917 days that this has sort of been the equilibrium zone of the upside support and the downside resistance right in the zone. Makes sense that we are traveling in the zone. Now, can we come back down again? In fact, I feel like looking at it like this, it might make a little bit more sense for this to actually come down and tap into this liquidity zone right here. If we make a box right in this zone right here, let's go to make this gold. Come on. I can never double click on that. There we go. Let's go ahead and make this gold. And we can see right in this zone, if we go, let's do, man, I don't want to do it from all the way there. Option F, come all the way to the top. Yeah, this is holding on this fib zone here on the 0.5. Look at this. On this zone here, I was looking specifically because of this 50 moving average trend signal line, as well as this order block liquidity, as well as this sort of macro level of support. And all these things sort of come into confluence with the golden pocket right here. We can see, if we zoom in on this so you all can see this golden pocket, it was right at the top side of this box that I drew. This 50 moving average is right here in the middle. And then we have the order block liquidity, as well as this rising level of support. This looks like a zone that also would hold us above this previous low right here. This looks like a zone on the weekly that is it's a strong likelihood of us to come back into. And remember, if this happens, if price comes down to this level, this isn't necessarily bearish. It's actually bullish to come back into a known level of where liquidity would be. I just want to help everyone, Alex Green says. What have you been talking about? Big love to everybody. I did not take a look at the chat for the last 3 to 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Kelly, he said, what's up, Alex Green? I'm glad you're back, baby. Brad Kellam, my daddy-o's in the house. How you doing, my friend? My daddy-o, I should say. Mr. Silky. That's his nickname, is Silky. Because he tries to transmogrify things in the metaverse, baby. Man, I'm feeling good today. 135 people in the room, 90 likes. Everybody hit that like button. Let's go over to what the heck we were talking about today, though. We're going to come back and do a bunch of TA. I got sucked in because when I start looking at charts, it's all I want to look at. But we got to look. We got investing bros in the house, apparently. So, yeah, what's up, brother? How you guys doing? A big love to all the investing bros family there. Let's go ahead and kind of take a look over here. we have to take a look at this. The Fitch downgrade U.S. credit rating, citing erosion of confidence in fiscal management. Let's just all just go ahead and suggest that this is probably one of the most long overdue statements in U.S. I mean, just in the management of fiscal management. Let's be honest. There's more debt than there's ever been dollars printed. It's like a 10 to 1 ratio. Everybody asks me, well, why would you like, not everybody, people that aren't involved yet in Bitcoin, how could you like Bitcoin? Bitcoin's imaginary. You want to know something that's imaginary? The US dollar is imaginary. It's built on a web of just instruments and tools to hide the data about what's truly available. Robbing Peter to pay Paul is truly the ethos of the US dollar. And this is why you're getting stuff like this where, it's interesting. I didn't highlight it, but if we zoom down here, Janet Yellen says, where was it? Fitch's decision outdated. It's outdated. The majority of our entire government. Did you all see, and I'm not wishing ill will on anybody. You guys see, from Joe Biden, President Biden to Mitch McConnell to, there's so many people that they get up there and start speaking and all of a sudden it's like butterflies in their brain. We need to get people that have a clear understanding of what's going on with not only, the betterment of society, but also sometimes the betterment of society isn't this shiny thing that makes you think where you just get everybody free money. That doesn't help people. Helping people means giving people the tools that they can navigate their life in a meaningful way. And sometimes that's education. Sometimes that's tighter policies with the way budgets are spent. Sometimes there's so many different aspects here. It's not just say, let's give money to everybody, because that actually takes away the ability to actually incentivize people to drive forward towards our ambition. Now, will that be the need in some point in the near future? I do think once we have AI and all this other stuff come in and the development of technologies that make life easier, yes, but we're nowhere near that right now. And we all need to teach people to fish, not give people fish. And it's kind of like the debate between the left and the right. And I don't think there's any right answer. I think there's a lot of things at play that are being overlooked with the integration, especially with our government. The integration using things like blockchain and trustless systems that can really harness the best of all things, right? Having transparency and what, how things are organized and how things are being spent and how things, it's just, I'm just so over the disillusionment I have with our U.S. government. But today's downgrade should be a wake up call. We need to get our country's fiscal and political house in order. I definitely agree with that. But people are upset. Some of they're upset about the downgrading. But one of the issues here, which kind of rises, which actually tailors into what we're thinking about with Bitcoin and risk assets in general, is you see this article came out right after this downgrade in the rating, and it says Bitcoin rises after Fitch downgrades U.S. debt rating. Well, one of the things we want to pay attention here is one of the interesting things, and I was listening to Kathy Woods, the president of our CEO of ARK Invest, portfolio management. What's up? Hit Network Gaming, lurking and learning. Love you, brother. I appreciate you being here, my friend. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everybody for being here. But talking about this downgrade, one of the interesting things about the state of the economy over the last 3 years is that as inflation, interest rates started rising significantly, especially with the monetary, the Fed's action plan with raising the interest rates over the last, 2 year and a half. This puts, in some ways, a disproportionate pressure on some of the longer term thought to be safe investment opportunities like U.S. Treasuries and bonds and things like this. This is why, we're seeing some of the issues that we were seeing with banks and the cascading, 3 or 4 or 5 biggest bank failures in history, because while they do make risky plays, they also look to things like hedging the some of the risky plays they do by investing in longer term U.S. treasuries and things like this. And when you start seeing U.S. Interest rates rise in the face of inflation, when they're trying to bring down inflation, it actually puts this disproportionate pressure also on those not being the best investment vehicles. So now we're seeing a little bit of a this downgrade from was it the Fitch downgrade of the U.S. credit rating from AAA to AA. But is it really going to have an impact on all this sort of stuff? I think in some aspects it will, but I think it's more of a marker, that throughout now in the institutional side as well, we're starting to see, I mean, look at this last year. We're seeing some, the Fantastic Seven or the whatever you want to call it, these top tech stocks really feeling like they're in a bubble. But in this risky sort of narrative, we're seeing a lot of risk assets perform in ways that are kind of counterintuitive for what's going on with the economy. And then we get this downgrade of the U.S. credit of the U.S. You know what I'm saying? My brain's not fully working yet from all the travel yesterday. But the narrative, we're starting to see this shifting narrative that even in the face of, I mean, think about it, even in the face of even a downturn in the stock markets and if we look over here, let's actually pull up a new tab. Coming over here, if we look at the narrative of what's going on with S&P 500, Dow Jones, all these traditional assets, we had a massive NASDAQ. Let's go to the 3-day. We had this massive sort of downtrend, right? And we also come over here to Bitcoin. If we come back over here, if we look at Bitcoin, and remember, we had this massive, we're going to 3-day. We had this massive downtrend. And we also not only had a massive downtrend, we had cascading failures. We had FTX collapse. We had the Luna collapse. We had the Three Arrows Capital. We had Celsius. I mean, it was, and even in the face of all this, if you look at the drop, from the top to the bottom, we had a 77% drop in the face of some massive, massive failures. But if we come over here and look at this previous drop, we had an 84% drop. So we had a smaller drop in the face of larger failures. And in addition to the larger failures that we had, we also had an economic downtrend where we also had massive sort of downside in the traditional asset space. So Bitcoin is doing better in the face of worse conditions over time. And people want to say, well, it's not performing as a hedge against it. Well, it's still a young damn asset. And you can see the growth in the way it's performing, while we're also having exponential growth in the type of people that are participating in this asset class. Institutions, ETFs on the horizon, all these sorts of things that are just screaming mass adoption is on the way. And so that's what I'm feeling. Let's go ahead and get off this page. Man, look at these, boom, boom, down to here. I'm just feeling good. All right, let me see. I'm getting some dings in my ears. Is there something coming in? No, that's a different Discord. All right, let's read up the chat. Look, we got anything special in here? You guys are more than willing to ask questions here and there. And if there's any important questions, the mods will try and ding those over to me on my on the mod Discord we have. But we got 137 people in the room, 102 likes. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's, what else do we want to say here? Fitch said, it was the first downgrade for the U.S. sovereign debt since S&P Global Ratings took the same step in 2011, bringing its rating to AA plus from AAA amid debt ceiling standoff in Congress at the time. For Bitcoin, such a downgrade could be a push it needs to shake off short-term regulatory concerns. Well, this is interesting because I actually find that we're starting to see a shift. I mean, think about what was going on. Think about what was going on in the Bitcoin. I'm getting so many dings in my ears. I don't know what channel it is, but I'm going to have to change the method for doing this because I can never tell if my mods are messaging me or not. So whatever. We've got to figure this out as we go. we remember looking at Bitcoin price action and what phase this was right here, March into April. This was also amidst a lot of the banking failures, right? So we're seeing a flight from US dollar into Bitcoin. We're seeing a fear of banks and, you know, this further adoption and price action and money coming into Bitcoin. And now we're sitting over here where we're on the cusp, you know, some point between now and February, between now and March, likely getting spot ETF approvals, which meaning there's going to be a huge influx of of capital coming in. And who's to say whether it's going to be 0.25%, if it's going to be 0.5%, if it's going to be 1%, if it's going to be 2% of that 80 to 100 trillion dollars that's sitting on the sideline in sovereign wealth funds and pension funds and union funds and retirement accounts and, you know, money that's waiting for access in a traditional sort of means by getting involved in ETFs and allocating, you know, percentages of those traditional portfolios, but wanting the narratives more and more are going to be getting exposure to Bitcoin and digital assets into your traditional asset portfolios, because it is proving maybe not to be a hedge, but to be a necessary asset that's going to perform in different ways than traditional assets and even gold does. Sometimes there's strong correlations, sometimes they're not. But we can see with the data, especially coming over here, this is a good point to kind of zoom out of the TA side of it. Look at the on-chain. We can come over here, new addresses, zoom in on this. We can see over time, let's kind of cut the noise. This SMA is simple moving average. Let's cut the noise of that. Okay, over time, we're getting, you know, a lot of new addresses. This doesn't necessarily specifically only mean new people, because one person can set up 5 new, you know, you can have multiple addresses, but we're seeing a large increase. And look at this. This is a hype cycle right here when we're getting really high prices and everybody wants to get in because the price is high. First off, stop being a dummy. Don't do that shit. When price is going really high, that's when you say, okay, this is something I want to really keep my eye on. And when price comes down to, you know, XYZ levels based on XYZ metrics, then I know that this was a strong asset. There's going to be a sell-off because all these hype cycle buyers are going to get wrecked because they don't have a courage to hold through any price volatility. So these super high, flying high prices, if you start getting excited, great. But let this be an excitement for you to be identifying levels to get in about a year and a half later when price is back over here. You see, this is, what date is this? This is December 2017. This is January 2019. So, yeah, so this is a year, you know, basically right at a year later. This top here is December 2013. The bottom here, December 2013, the bottom here is over here, March 2015. So, and we've broken this down. And by the way, if you haven't yet, head over to bitlabacademy.com, get involved, because there's courses in here, especially come over here to view all. It's the on-chain data course, as well as the trading strategies course, or trading fundamentals course, I should say. These, you know, these break down in trading strategies as well, break down, especially with this on-chain data, how we can identify, okay, I'm very excited here. You don't buy when you're very excited. You buy when everybody's fearful, sometimes even you. So don't be this. This is new addresses. Look at this. And then what happens to these addresses? They close because people are like, they get shaken out and they're like, it's a scam. No, trading on emotion is a scam. You don't trade on emotion, you trade on data. But then we can come over here, we can look at addresses with 1,000 or more Bitcoin, okay? Look at this. They're increasing the supply into the falling prices here. And then as it starts getting up towards kind of near where the previous all-time high is, then this starts offloading. This is offloading. Why? They're offloading into the strength of the market. The strength of the market is new money coming into the market. This is retail. They're taking advantage of having bought lower prices and selling into the hype cycle buyers. We can see this even more aggressively. We've talked about this before on addresses with 10,000. Yeah, addresses with 10 to do. We even do addresses with 100,000. But no, I want to do. That's not what I want to look at. What am I looking? This right here. So you can see right here, if we zoom in on this, boom. Look at this sharpening, a little bit of, this shook everybody out right here. You know, and then we had, look at this. Before this start, the black is the price. Before the black starts going up, the price starts going up. The addresses with greater than 10,000 really starts sharply moving up here. So bullish divergence on smart money buying right here. A little bit of sell off, but then going all the way up. And then right here, when they start offloading, as they're offloading, the price comes down. And then right here, as soon as this price action sells off, this is a global economic shutdown, pandemic shutdown, March 2020. They start buying into that immediately. And then as soon as price starts going up, look at this, previous all-time high. As soon as this hits this level, look at this, sharp offloading of wallets with over 10,000. See this? This is indicating smart money's taking profits into, they're offloading into the strength of this trend and having this come down. So there's all these metrics we can utilize aside from just US being downgraded, but we can see over here, even when FTX collapsed, look, smart money bought the shit out of that collapse. Smart money said, okay, this is ultimate fear. This means ultimate opportunity. We have to recognize that. The only thing you need to pay attention to is the type of asset that you're investing in, whether it's Bitcoin or some microcap coin. If you're having a microcap sell off dramatically, then you need to really look at what the context is, because there may be some major error with it. But when you're getting these sell-offs like this because of an institutional issue, which is not a Bitcoin fundamental issue, institutional issue means there's probably still there's probably strong opportunity. And we get a couple cascading institutional issues that shook the confidence in the trading, in the speculative value. And then right here, we see, and even right here, look, down, we get this sharp uptick here. This was likely a base for the Bitcoin bottom. However, we had that final shakeout, and then we had that final bullish sort of divergence here of the smart money really, really getting involved, layering into this right here. Now, there's a little bit of a concern here because we're seeing the addresses with over 10,000 Bitcoin, a little bit of a downtrend here as of late. But is that just the only signal? So we can come over here. Let's see where we're at today. What do the signals say about where the health of the market is today? These more macro signals that can give us a reserve risk. Okay, this is the balance between the price and the HODL bank. How strong is a HODL bank? Meaning the coins that are being held, long term. So we can see we're still very low. When this is low on the reserve risk, when this is low, this means you have a very strong asymmetric opportunity for how much risk you have versus how much opportunity for price to go higher. So, when this is low, does this mean price can't go lower again? No, it doesn't mean that, but it means that your risk is much lower. So this suggests to me any buying that I'm doing of Bitcoin, Ethereum and Cardano, all these as well, from my strategy, your strategy may be different. Any buying that I'm doing when this reserve risk metric is this low, I am position buying for a longer term move, for this longer term move, see this low, for this longer term move with a small allocation of 5 to 10% of trading some of these swings along the way. But the majority, I'm position buying here. When this, this was low. You see this right here? This was low. Okay, we got to push up, and then we had a little bit of a sell-off, and this went a little lower. Does this mean I'm like, oh my God, I missed the bottom? I'm like, God, I bought too early, and then I'm getting shaken out? No. Patience is the virtue of profits when we are trading. And if this is low, and you see the price go up, and then it capitulates a little bit lower, are we pissed that we bought too early? No, we say, thank God that I split up my dry powder so I buy over several different buys near market cycle bottoms, whether you're on a macro market cycle or a midterm or even a micro market cycle, and you break up into 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes even 8 entries, especially if you're on a macro load, buying, loading up on your assets for this large position move. Then you buy this dip and you buy this dip and you buy this dip and you get the average of all 3 of those prices. So you don't care at all if this goes lower. You say, I get another opportunity at a lower price, and you see the reserve risk shows that now there's even less risk, there's more opportunity. And then from here up, it's like you get all the way from $295 all the way up to $17,000 plus. How you all feeling today? We're talking about profits. We're talking about identifying those zones. Okay, we're talking macro, but where are we at on a smaller time frame? Okay, you know, because I've been away from the stream with you guys today. Look at this. We're having these oscillations on this is a reserve risk. This is a price up here. This is a reserve risk, the price divided by the HODL bank. So we're seeing this boom, boom, boom. Is this going to roll over? Is this going to try to come back up? Well, let's go ahead and look at the, what do we want to look at? Exchange net position change is actually, we want to look at this. The exchange net position change. This is coins going onto exchange or coming off of exchange. And what we're seeing here, everybody right now in the chat, we got 151 people in the room. Let's get up to 151 likes. Everybody hit that like. Everybody that is watching, hit the subscribe button. I want to get this below where we don't have 60% of you that are watching on a daily basis who are not part of the community. Join us here. And everybody in the chat, throw in a lab coat and throw in, either bullish or bearish for which direction you think price is going by the end of the week. Put a lab coat and put either bull or bear. Let me know where you think price is going. I want to see these chats fly. I want to see the emojis fly. I want to see some engagement. I'm over here spitting some truth to you all, sharing, waking up early, doing this on a daily basis. I want to see you all getting engaged. It really makes the butterflies fly in my stomach for you and seeing that there's equal participation here because I want you all to have profit. So let's look at this. What is the majority of the market doing right now? Well, we're seeing, look at this, large outflow, right? Net position change. Things coming off of exchange or onto exchange. That's what this is indicating. Onto exchange, preparing. Look at this. And we had a large sell-off. Onto exchange, we had sell-off. Off of exchange, push up. Off of exchange, push up. Onto exchange, a little further sell-off. Off of exchange, push up. Now look at this. Significant off of exchange. Large move up. Onto exchange. Now, why does this matter? Because what happens when you're going onto exchange from holding it in your wallet? Why would you move it from safety in your own wallet onto exchange without the intention or likelihood, higher likelihood for you to sell or trade the price action? So look at this. Off of exchange, onto exchange right here. Look at this. Boom, sell off. Onto exchange, kind of continued, somewhat sustained sell off. And the difference here is we've had this sustained off of exchange with still the small amount of coins that are on exchange have been causing this almost like, I don't want to say the word manipulated, but it's almost like some market makers and some institutions and the small amount of short-term holders that are out there are getting affected and moving the price when the majority of people are, in the flight to safety. They're in, illiquid supply, meaning they're holding off of exchange. They're holding in their own private folders. There's something else I wanted to show you here, but I do not know what it was. Exchange balance. Look at this. All right. We have the lowest balance of, percentage balance on exchanges. Does that say under 12%? This is incredible. This is we haven't been this low since 2017. Yeah, so we're looking good. I mean, in terms of, we can even come over here to, I want to go to looknode.com. Looknode. Let me go to this so you cannot see my private email. All right, here we go. Coming here, cycle valuation. Let's go to the Bitcoin trend fib opportunity zones. This is my on-chain metric. What I want to show you here is we're just butting our head. You see this purple band right here? This purple band, which is Bitcoin, the bull floor band, because once we really get above this, you've established that you've got a pretty strong bullish initiative, but we see all the way over here, we've kind of oscillated around this in this sort of choppy zone all the way across here. And it isn't until we actually break free from it, come back and test it, as well as short-term holder realized price, and then just launch up to this, launch up. And then look at this. When we came down, even though this was a midterm bearish trend, found support right on this bull floor band. The macro trend was still bullish, and we bounced back up. We come down, find support on it again, come up, reject on the short-term holder realized price, and then ultimately have the full-on continuation of the bear trend. Now, I hate when I zoom in on the page. It does that, baby. All right. So we can see we're bouncing support right here on the short-term holder realized price, this trend signal line. You see that? We turn off all this other, let's turn off the extreme hype, take profit zone, bull control, capitulation. There we go. Yeah. So look at this. This is a short-term holder realized price. I like to think of it as a trend. What sort of real trend are you in? Once you lose it, you're basically in a bearish trend. Come back, retest it. Another opportunity to get out, downtrend. Rejection. We finally break free right here. This is right at 17,816 was the ultimate best, most risk-adjusted spot to get in on this move to the upside, because now we're breaking through the short-term holder realized price, and we had the bullish divergence all the way across on the other signals, RSI, stochastics, the momentum that gave us a signal that this was likely going to break out. Then we break the short-term holder realized price, come down, retest this zone right here at 19.7, retest it right over here at 26. You see how much higher this is getting, and we're still being suppressed under this bull floor band, which essentially is also the ceiling for this sort of intermediate sort of bullish bearish trend. So we'd really like to break through this, and that is, we've got to break free, like Queen says. We're right here. That's right in the same levels that we've been talking about. We're above the 32,000, 32.3. So let's go ahead and look at one more sort of, that's not what I wanted to go to, Bitcoin strategy platform. We want to look at the global liquidity here, because this is ultimate fuel that we're going to be talking about. Do we have fuel for the car to continue up a hill? Well, it looks like we had an impulse and there was no follow through, really. We basically butt heads at the same level, and we had a little bit of a global liquidity sort of sell off. And interestingly, it looks like we have a bit of a trend line there, a downward trend line from here to here to here. And unfortunately, I don't think on this one you can zoom in or out on this metric from this is the Rational Root site, Bitcoin strategy platform. But we want to see this. This is also compressing up. You see this, these lows, low. This is starting to compress up. We really want to see, for price action to really get to levels that everybody really wants them to get to, before we can even talk about that, is we want to see global liquidity starting to tick up, because this is fuel for the engine. And we've talked about this before. You see this FTX collapse right here with this flat base right here, but the global liquidity started amping up massively before we finally had the capital flow from traditional assets, and the risk narrative started to get turned back on because the global liquidity was flowing strong. See, look how strong this was performing, front running this major move here. So in a way, we can't really expect really strong moves from Bitcoin. I mean, it can happen, but it's not super likely until we start seeing this move, and likely move before we start seeing the Bitcoin price really start to break free. Now, what does that mean? Well, when we're looking here at Bitcoin, we've got this massive, not only order block from the BitLab volume, but also the order block, I mean, perfectly outlines where this area of interest is with all these supports, all this price interactivity. And we're sitting here right now. Let's see how many days this was. That is 54 days. Okay, now what is this? That is, let's go to, actually, we're on the 3-day. I want to look at the daily. Here we go. So from the start of the rollover, boom, to that. Yeah, so that's about 50 days. This was about 23 days. This was about 63 days. And what we're looking at right now is about 41 days. And remember, the other day we had Charlie from Cultivate Crypto on. He was talking about like a 60-day cycle. And so when we look at this, this is already from the low here, 30 days, 31 days to the dot in 28 to 30 days. This had an upward movement, peaked out, and now it's starting to come down. So let's see where we're at now on this zone. So now we are at 21 days. We're coming up on that next 30-day cycle if we were looking at time-based analysis. And we're also seeing this downtrend. Okay, I see a question from Kyle Owen, Brad G. Thank you for sending that to me. I'll get to that in 1 second. But we can see here on the volume, look at this massive downtick in volume. Massive downtick in volume here. That then we're getting a little bit of a breakout, a little change of pace here on the volume as well, coming into this zone. So this is coming into a zone that likely is going to have some sort of interaction with potential reversal back to the upside based on this up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. This is the down. The next thing likely will be up if we're using that analysis. Remember, there's multiple different types of analysis we can look to. So let's get some more alpha on where we're currently at. Well, let's go ahead and pull up our all of our stuff. Pull up the, okay, we are on 3-day. So this is all, you know, we're getting a lot of the updates coming in for, I mean, look at these signals. It's just so good. Let's go to the 4-hour. So coming into the zone, we got bearish signal. Look at this. These are essentially, we don't like to use the word buy sell, but these are essentially strong signals for, you know, based on a number of metrics. You know, this is likely a sell signal, short signal, likely short signal, strong sort of buy signal. And then you have these trend shift signals that you can take profits. You can integrate them into your strategy as well, using these multiple different types, because they're all read differently. That way you can use different signals that are reading different types of things so you can get the most accurate view of what's going on in the market and build a strategy around that. So where we're at right now, this has come down. And from this point, we are at about 19, 20 days. So where would that put the 30-day mark? 30-day mark will be right here, option V. We're going to do that right here. So is this going to crab into this zone and then work its way back up? Or is this going to fake out to the upside and continue down? Well, looking at this right here, look at all this momentum to the downside on the trend fuel, the BitLab trend fuel. This is a new integration of all the other stuff that we had, the significant movement and the relative extrema and the hidden volume. We decided to integrate things to where we could have a very simple look on the chart and rebuild, overhaul everything from the ground up so we can get a very simple view. And that way, also, if you don't want to pay for TradingView, you can get everything integrated just in this one look, because we have the money flow, we have the momentum, we have divergences, we have the health of the momentum with these red and green signals. And we're going to have full training content on these as well. So keep a lookout for that as soon as we start leading into rolling these out. But we can see we're getting these sort of green diamonds and red diamonds. This is when you're having that shift back, basically a confirmation shift of momentum back to the upside. And we can see this is a shift with actually volume involved. And we're seeing a lot of choppiness with money flow. The question is going to be right in this zone right here. I would say option J. We have lower lows right here. You see option T, lower lows. And then on momentum, we have a bullish divergence on momentum. And this signals right into this move. Now, the question is going to be, we do have a sort of a sell signal here, a bearish grouping signal here. The question is going to be, what's going to happen in this zone right here? When we come back down, is this going to come down and test this zone right here, which is kind of the intermediary level of all these sort of dips right here? Or is price going to come back down and retest below this? Well, looking at the 4 hour, it's not getting a lot of clear signal on this, other than that this clearly rejected right on this zone, which is not looking good. If we are able to hold this, though, because look at this, option F, we are able to hold this. This is coming right down into the golden pocket as it stands right now. So if we're able to push up, flush out the shorts, get those liquidated, and then come up here, get longs, get those people overly motivated long, flush those back out to the downside, then you've effectively flushed out the short liquidity, the long liquidity, come down, find bullish sentiment, sort of buying power right in this zone, and then move back to the upside. That would actually be very bullish. So if we're able to hold above 29,154, really, especially on the 4-hour candles, with any wick being bought up very quickly. If we're able to hold above this, then I am seeing testing back up into the 29.8, and then ultimately we want to see it break the 30,000, this zone right here, option J, breaking back above the 30,370. If we're getting back up into these zones, I do think that there's a higher likelihood that we're going to come up and retest the 31.8 zone. Man, how's everybody doing? Staring at these charts. I got to look at some of the messages you got. We got a message from Kyle Owen. Said, Kelly, you think September will be a red month again? It's been red the past like 5 years. Well, that's one of those things, a correlation, you know, I don't know if I would look for a red month because previous Septembers have been red. Looking at the narrative of what's going on, coming into a strong election year, coming into some decisions or delays that are going to be made around the ETFs. I think the first decision is 45 days out, which ends up being around the middle end of August, like around the 25th, 26th. I can't remember the exact date. And if that gets delayed, then I think we'll have a kind of a, you know, potentially a small push up into that that time frame, and then a little bit of a sell off in digital asset markets coming into September. But yeah, it's hard to tell right now based on everything, because if we start getting pauses, or I don't think we're going to get a pivot. Let's be honest. I don't think a pivot's in the cards this year for the Fed. But if we start getting pauses and we start seeing, for instance, liquidity start coming into play in China or something like that, which is very possible, then I think markets could actually do better than expected. So I think let's look into the first 2 weeks of August, see which way the winds are shifting, and then we can get back to talking about what may be happening in September. Kissy faces if you insist. All right, kissy faces. I see all those of you in chat throwing up emojis. Man, I love each and every one of you, by the way. I appreciate y'all. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Ding the bell. All the people, some of the people I was working with out in Vermont were teasing me because I was doing the morning stream there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And of course there was people kind of walking around and hitting. So later on in the day, they're like, hey, Kelly, gotta hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. I said, you got to do it, man. It was just funny because, you know, they didn't know what the hell I was talking about, but so they were teasing me, but I do this for you guys, man. All right. Concerning, we do have a trend line right here. We got to acknowledge it. Boom. Doom, doom, doom. We got rejected. So I really want this area right here, the 29,150 to 29.2. I really want this area to hold. Really do. If we're able to bounce here, the next level we're going to be looking at is right in this zone, right across here, 29.8. And this also would be breaking this zone. If we're able to take this zone, I don't think this is going to be as much of a problem, the 30, but this zone right here is the contentious zone right here, 29.8 to 30K. If we're able to take that, I do think we're going to be testing a bit higher. So let's go ahead and do some other TA. We talked about Ethereum already a bit. We've got a trend line. We're on the 4-hour. Yeah, we're going to do 4-hour charts. Turbo TA time, everybody. Let's do it. If we're able to take this, if we're able to break out of this, I do think we're going to be testing up to 1927. If we take that, then I think we're going to be testing back up into the, back up into the $2,000 range. But we are seeing an attempt. We have slightly almost neutral momentum levels here, but we have much lower right here on the price. So there's some very soft bullish divergence on the momentum waves here. But what are we seeing with money flow? Money flow is very choppy. It's going up and down, not doing much. So what does it look like on the 1 hour? Okay, 1 hour is looking like it's still trying to test lower. Yeah, look at this. Look at this sell. I'd like to wait to get a reversal print. See these? Or trend shift, or a bullish sort of flag like this. But this is looking like it's kind of trying. I'm looking for a test probably down here a little bit lower, right down here to 1836, 1835, this sort of zone. If we're able to hold this zone, which also is directly above an order block, then I do think this could kind of test back up. But look at this. This was perfect exemplification. On the 1 hour, you have this head and shoulders right here. And look, what's the target on this? We go like this. What do I mean? We have the shoulder, head, shoulder, measure from this neckline up to the top of this thing. Let's see what the target would have been. And this is right exactly what I was talking about. This goes right into this 1830 sort of range. Also, this order block right here. And also, you'd have a lightly higher level of, look at that. Look at this. Boom, boom. I touch these two wicks, and this goes exactly to where the target is from this head and shoulder breakdown. So I'm seeing this likely coming down into this zone, 1835, 1830, 1832 sort of zone here. And hopefully this momentum wave will have broken back to the upside and show some positive movement to then come up, test the bottom side of this range, 1854. You see this right here? Test that, and then ultimately make its way back up to 1870. That's what I'm seeing on Ethereum. But now we're doing some turbo TA. Let's do it. Ethereum, Cardano, baby. Let's go ahead and delete some stuff. We're going to go right here. We have the new stuff. Okay. So just looking at some levels. I'm letting my eyes guide me to where I'm seeing some levels are connecting. These levels, come on. These levels are connecting right like this. Bastard. There we go. Getting a lot of dings. Okay, good. So remember we talked about this last week. We had this kind of like the Bitcoin breakdown of 2018, where we had that massive falling triangle or descending triangle. We had descending level of resistance, flat level of support with a large peak out at the beginning, this blow off here, and then this constricting sort of, the way this looks without having any bias or understanding of, if you're just looking at the chart, this does look like it will have a washout to the downside. Why is that? Because we talked about it. I don't need to go over every single thing in every stream. You got to just watch more of the streams if this is your only stream. But essentially, if we look at Bitcoin in we talked about this before, in 2017, we go to 3-day chart. We zoom in. Come on. This right here. You can see it. Option T. We see this right there. Flat level. And we have this peak, this blow off at the beginning, and then this constricting in. Does this not look like what we are seeing right where are we at? Right 4 hour. Does this not look similarly to what we're seeing right here? We can even delete this line. We're seeing this blow off at the beginning, and then we have this consecutive tightening into a range, tightening into a resistance range, coming down here. And look at this on the 4 hour. Look at this. Is this like in the last 24 minutes? Look at this strong sell-off. So, I mean, I'm telling you, the chart is telling us this is likely trying to wash out a little bit to the downside. So let's go here, option F. What is ultimate target here? We look at this, broke down, didn't to this golden pocket here, came immediately lost it, getting rejected the golden pocket. This is a golden pocket, rejected the golden pocket. Now we're at this level, which is also losing the 786. The next level down is just, is coming down into this zone right here where we're getting a lot of rejection, support, rejection. If we're not able to ultimately on a bullish level hold 29 cents, then I do think that there might be some further downside in the cards to potentially, it's not that much further down. It just feels like a lot when you're looking at it on a small time frame. Down into this zone here, there's 27.9, 28 cents. Now that is, not like it only feels like 1 or 2 cents, but if you look at that, that's a 7-8% move. But we are seeing, look at this, bullish divergence on the momentum. Money flow is trying to come out. So is this just a washout before we attempt? If we are going to buy here, if we are going to bounce, we will very quickly want to see a follow through to up to this zone here. Not a small bounce, not a small bounce into like a rejection of like on this move right here. You wouldn't want to like come up, reject here, and then come down because that's indicating you're probably going to follow through to the downside. If we do bounce here, I'd like to see a continuation to test these zones and continue up higher. That's on the 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute. It's not looking hyper bullish on any of the time frames for even a reversal. But we do have higher lows here. The momentum's still expanding to the downside. Got a red stochastics, got a red trend wave, neutral RSI, neutral trend wave. Stochastics green though, and VWAP's green. Daily. Yeah, this is barring any sort of positive news coming in the space or Bitcoin starting to make strides. I would be looking at this likely coming, testing the resolve, coming to the downside for a little bit of a final washout. We do push to the upside. I wouldn't really be trading this move. I'd be trading this breakout of this line here. That's what I would be doing. Now coming down to, we're just going to go down this list. So it's kind of, there's a lot of the coins in this list that you all called out. So GRT, we haven't looked at this in a while. Let's go ahead and make this, we're going to delete this line. We can kind of come here. We're going to do candle bodies and candle wicks. So, okay, look at this. This is on the daily. Bullish divergence here. It's almost hidden bullish divergence because these are pretty equal and the price is higher. Get down to the 4 hour. Pretty strong bullish divergence here, strong enough that this even called it out. Let's go ahead and delete this there. Liquidity zones. Look at this order block. Boom. Rejected, coming down. Are we going to come back down and tap this again? If so, would this form a W pattern to come to the upside? If we are able to hold this, one of the things I like is that this is broken down below this trend signal line and the EMA ribbons. Tried to break above it, fake out to the downside, fake out back, rejected, stiff to the downside. Now we have this dynamic resistance zone. We're kind of chopping through it, chopping a little bit less through it. Now we're kind of trading in line, very constricted volatility here. We could tell by the moving averages all sort of collapsing in on themselves here. Now we've broken through it. Will we hold this zone here, which also looks like it was about where the golden pocket is on this move? And exactly, look at that. We can see it is. And this is also the 50 moving average right here. But we do have bullish divergence. This looks like it's sort of waiting for a direction of what direction Bitcoin's going to go, or positive news development on GRT. The graph, excellent coin. I really like what they're doing. In fact, I'll probably be allocating some into this very soon, especially if we come work our way back up into here and break this zone. Now, as it stands right now, we had two bullish divergences right here. We can see momentum bullish diverge, which we also see playing out there, as well as unbalanced volume. But we're holding above this level for now. If we lose this level, I'm looking for it to come back down into this zone. Let's go down to the 1 hour. 1 hour doesn't look as good. Look at this. We have a double top, which is it's not quite a double top. We have a falling channel that's sort of been established here. The M formation that is that going to turn into a falling wedge? That's what I want, but is that what it is? It might not be what it is yet because it's only 2 points. Might be something like this. Take this out to the, either way, if we come down here, I'd like to find support at 10.89. If we lose this level, then I think we are coming back down here to 10.81. Small moves here, but this is all determining the setup into the next directional move for GRT. I'd like to see this bounce somewhere at this zone. Because look at this golden pocket. It's perfectly in line with where this previous top rejection zone is right here. In fact, look, we can do a line off the top of that. Look how perfectly in line that is. So I would like to find, I'd actually like to see the price come down into the zone, bounce here at 10.92, and then work its way up to this zone right in here, back at 1104 to 1100 even, and then break out from here and try to find its way back to the upside. There is some work to be done. I think everything's waiting on the directional move of Bitcoin. In fact, let's kind of go. Let's come down to Atom real quick, and then I want to look at the Bitcoin dominance in terms of setups. Okay, same thing, similar thing that we're seeing with GRT. A little bit of a sell-off here. Option T, come down. We have 2 points there. Do we have any points coming from here? Why here? Because I like to see multiple points of where price action interacts with what's going on in the chart. Now I'm experimenting. We're experimenting here. So, okay, see, rejection, rejection. This is coming down. Is this going to find support? We're on the 30-minute, 24-minute. Okay, this is starting to curve up, but it's already starting to convex out. All right. Look at this. Okay, we got it. We did get a buy signal here, or a bearish indication signal. I don't really like to call them buy or sells. They're just a combination of multiple different signals that are suggesting a bullish setup. And this stopped the sell-off and continued sideways. And we ultimately did fall back a little bit and move up. That's why you want to use things in confluence with each other. Comes down, finds support at this region. We're starting to see this price action round. These are small time frames. Look at this. A lot of bulls coming in here to defend this zone. We're getting rejected at the dynamic resistance zone, though. However, we are getting a bullish divergence from, look at how high the price is here and how low it is here. Look how low the momentum came down here. And we're getting a bit of a bullish divergence here. And coming into this zone, are we going to see a bounce here? I'm not counting on it yet. But if we're able to break through this sort of zone here, this dynamic resistance zone, then maybe we'll see higher prices. Let's kind of look at a couple things really quick. XRP, man, this is those zones we were talking about. Came down, tried to test around the 618 of this full move that we had here. If we lose this level, then I do think we're coming down into the into this sort of 50, 58, 59 region. But at the same time, this feels like it's kind of coiling up for another move. Too many lines in here. Delete, delete. Okay, delete, delete. Yeah. So this looks like sometimes you got to clean it up. If this constricts into the zone and breaks out, then I think we're going to be testing that dollar region and potentially even sort of full bullpen it. Like a flagpole breakout, which is way higher, but I don't want to really illuminate that yet right now because we are seeing the momentum's coming back up. This is on the 4 hour, 1 hour. Let's see what's going on. 1 hour. Okay, we're getting a lot of, but look at this. These are getting higher. This does look like it's leaning towards a bullish point. But yeah, if we break down below this, I want to see a wick into this zone and it immediately bought up, or continuation to the downside is what's in the card. Now AVAX, I know a lot of people always ask about AVAX. So is this, boom. So we got this trend line right here. So you see this rejection. Actually, I want to do it from this line right here. So rejection, 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 support, support. Now we come down to support. Look at all these order blocks. There's a lot of order blocks. See all those green, this green one, there's a larger green one from way back here. And then there's a smaller green liquidity sort of anomalies, right here, we're magnet, essentially, price coming back into this zone. And I'd like to see AVAX come back and basically take out this level here, 1292. We're able to take out 1292. This is also sort of the lows of this region here. If we're able to take this out, next stop up is basically 1330. And then we'll probably be stair stepping pretty quickly. I do feel like this is a consolidation range loading up for a larger breakout. This is another trend line we can do from these points here. And so if we do come up into this zone, look at that. This zone, the same zone I was talking about, is basically in line with about where this trend line is, 1292 to 12. And I saw this based on these lows and this high here. It only turns out that this diagonal resistance level is perfectly in line with that. So what would be the fib on that? The fib on that, man, I just got lightheaded for some reason. The fib on that would be, look at that, perfectly in line with where the golden pocket is as well. So this is the zone we're watching that we want to see AVAX break out of, because not only would it be breaking out of this W pattern at this point, it's also this previous lows as well as the diagonal level of resistance. So that's the hot zone I'm looking for. for probably a pretty large move to follow after that, start cascading to the upside. So that's what I got. I love you all. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have you hit the like button? Have you hit the subscribe button? Have you hit the bell? You know, I talked about, actually, let's come back over here really quick before we go. We got to talk just for a second about what's going on with the totals. You know, Bitcoin dominance, you know, is kind of at this inflection point where it's also a little bit of a broadening wedge, which can be a bearish structure, but this would take a long time to play out in the first place. But this came up, got rejected at this 52% zone. If we start seeing this come down and test this 48% and start breaking down, this would ultimately be very, very good for the bulls for altcoins. So let's pay attention to that. If this starts pushing up, we will want to see this get rejected. The Bitcoin dominance hit the 51% at this low. I'd really want to see this get rejected here and come back down, because I do think large people in the space are really highly thinking more so about what's going on with all their alt portfolios, you know, and they want to see some moves. Let's go ahead and mute all this stuff. This is the total crypto market cap. I want to see the total too, actually. Yeah, that is the total 2. Let's look at the total 3. Yeah, this inverse head and shoulder did not play out, did it? So let's see. Still holding in this zone. If this starts, man, look at this. This is actually setting up fairly bullish. A little bit of a bull flag, bull channel. Momentum coming down though. Yeah, I guess we all need to be patient right now. Things are waiting on some things to make their move. So all I got to say to each one and every, I'll see you all tomorrow. I love you all. I appreciate you. Let's go ahead and get this redirect over to the Hit Network. Shout out to anybody that is watching at the Hit Network. Make sure you come over to BitLab Academy and check us out right here. That's my face on a double whammy there. Now right here, youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. Come give us a follow. Check out all this information down here in the, you know, a lot of different things you can learn from here. The evergreen, the ETF stuff, Bitcoin and Banks, Pro Trading View Guide, learn how to set up your templates, quick keys, all that sort of stuff. And make sure you check out bitlabacademy.com. All these courses, a lot more coming. We love you all. Make sure you come over here, BitLab Academy, @Academy BitLab. That's right, @Academy BitLab. Hit that retweet, hit that follow, hit the like button. You get entered to win. And of course, make sure you give me a follow @Kellam. I love you all. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And with that, I bid you adieu. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in to bitlabacademy.com. Hit that like button, sucker.